Brierfield Station began life as Marsden Station in 1849. It was renamed Brierfield Station in 1857. The signal box was a Saxby and Farmer Type 8 design, built in 1876. It was demolished in 2014. The Gasworks and gas holder to the left of the station, built in 1869 by the mill owner Henry Tunstall. The present gas holder was built in 1893 and is a listed structure. National Grid has decommissioned the gas holder this year in 2024. Gas production ceased and the gasworks were demolished in the 1970s with the introduction of North Sea gas. In 1986, part of the East Lancs line became a single track from Ganner Junction to Colne. This was to save a reported £100,000 per annum. The stations affected by the single track are Burnley Barracks, Burnley Central, Brierfield, Nelson and Colne. The double track bed and 3 disused platforms still exist. Burnley Barracks Station is in a cutting and not visible to the surrounding area. Brierfield Station is prominent in the town and the disused platform is a neglected eyesore. Nelson Station is raised above the town. The disused track bed isn't visible to the surrounding area. The disused platforms at Burnley Central and Colne have been demolished many years ago. Brierfield Station fronts the recently renovated Northlight Mill. 38 years of neglect has taken its toll. Nature has taken over on the disused platform. It has the potential for use as a community space. In-Situ has the vision to landscape the platform and is currently in talks with Network Rail to gain a licence to start the work. While researching the history of the nearby gasworks and gas holder, I came across an old photograph of a John Fowler petrol engine that served the gasworks from 1923 to 1945. The engine is historically important as it was the first internal combustion engine made by John Fowler & Co. To my surprise, the engine still exists at Butterley on the Middle Railway. After speaking to the owner, Adam Aisling, he offered to donate the engine, which is known as Andy, to our railway and gasworks project. Wouldn't it be fantastic to see this little engine back in Brierfield where it started? Let's hope we can find a home for Andy. The following is a series of talks on the train from Brierfield to Colne to observe the disused platform and discuss the past, present and future of Brierfield Station with members of the community.
I think that's the original bridge.
They used to have glass panels over the top, didn't they?
Did it?
I don't remember glass panels over the top.
No, I don't
Might have done, but I often wondered what the reason for those arches were. But
Yeah, there used to be glass panels across the top.
did
Red
there?
Ed were telling me about
I
it.
can't remember that.
Oh,
But
that's interesting.
because as a lad, I used to stand on that bridge quite a lot.
Yeah,
And watching steam trains. There used to be a massive marshalling yard here.
yeah.
Right,
And
okay.
steam trains used to come out of there and
Yeah.
head up towards that one at Nelson, and they used to shunt backwards and forwards all day. They used to drop livestock off here as well, back in 1930s. My grandpa Farrow, he used to tell us that they used to drop livestock off here and they used to walk them up to the butcher's shop. You know, it was in a day when each shop had to do its own butchering, and I'm glad I didn't see any of that. Like.
Welcome aboard this Northern Service to Colne. The next station stop is Nelson. Mind the gap between the train and the platform edge.
It's actually got a really nice view from up here.
Yeah,
A
it's
great
nice.
view of Pinnacle Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
This
right.
is
It is.
Nelson.
It's almost inaccessible unless you're coming to the train station.
Well, back in the day, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the film Nelson 62 that we made. Was a part of Nelson Station as it was, and it was the start of the July holidays, which start of the Burnley holidays, should I say, and it was always either on the first or the second week of July. There's a shot of Nelson Station, and Nelson platform was absolutely full of suitcases and people. You couldn't get anywhere near the train.
Going to Blackpool?
Going to Blackpool, Morecambe.
Yeah.
If you were in the rich, you'd be going to Alaman. That was the Alaman was the rich man's Blackpool and Morecambe. And then it became to Spain. That was the very rich man's Blackpool and Morecambe. But I mean, you'd be talking 3 or 4 trains every half hour.
Because me and my mum always holidayed in Blackpool, but I can never remember catching the train. We must have caught the train, but I can't remember the journey over. I can remember the holidays over in Blackpool.
I mean, my grandparents, they lived at bottom of Junction Street. Every Saturday night, they were on a train going to Blackpool.
Yeah.
They did dancing at Tower Ballroom at Blackpool. Even during war, they were on a train going to Blackpool on a Saturday night for ballroom dancing. Yes.
It should be called 100 Views of Pendle, should this journey. You can see it from
Yes.
everywhere.
100 views of Pendle.
Yeah. You could make a poem about
You
that,
should
Ada.
make it. Yeah. What's your idea? It's interesting how many schools it passes as well.
Yeah.
Is it
We will shortly be
Kendal
arriving
Vale,
at
then Fisher Moor,
Cold,
and
Yeah.
then
where this train terminates. Mind the gap between the train and the platform edge.
Yeah, well, I use the train more or less every morning in my, I'm going to say early adulthood, to travel to Blackburn. To go college there. And by the end of the year, I remember the big stack of train tickets I used to have. I think I still might have them somewhere as well, stacked away in a little memory box. I lived on Bogcross Road when I grew up as well, and that does have the train line crossing as well. It doesn't have a station at all, it's just a crossing where I remember flattening pennies, which I'm not sure if it's legal or not.
Yeah, I did that once with the Flying Scotsman. Sort of kept it as my lucky penny. Do you have any sort of memories, Andy, of travelling by train?
I've probably got 2. We used to sort of come over here to come to the sports centre. I would say sort of tri skating was very, very big at the time. So we'd obviously catch it from Brierfield to Colne and go tri skating. And
Please remain vigilant.
and
If you see anything
obviously
suspicious,
we did
please
that sort
report
of
it to our
so
team.
it's
or the
always sort of
British
reminiscent
Transport
of that
Police
sort of
by
like
text
19
on 61016.
that sort of
We'll sort it.
mid
See
1980s,
it,
and that
say
period.
it,
So
sorted.
I sort of remember the sort of journey, and also the sort of music around the time, sort of like, and it's similar like I just said about going over to Blackburn. There used to be a record shop called Reedy's. I must have sort of seen it as advertising Enemy or Melody Maker, one of those things, as being somewhere where you can buy the latest sort of dance music and that kind of thing, because that was mid-80s again.
I'll tell you one thing that I did use with the train station, which might not be great to talk about, but because in Brierfield there was not many places to go where there was light and shelter, Brierfield train station was the spot. So you would find a few youth there, 15, 16 years old, drinking and smoking. It was just like there was nowhere else that was available to us, especially with shelter. I think shelter was the most important thing.
It was interesting. I went with Paddy on a few walks from Colne Station, and I think it's this idea of when you get off at Brierfield Station, where do you go from there? And I think we have got a lot of things on in the neighbourhood, whether it be Quaker Bridge or the woods or if the canal itself. I think it might be interesting to devise some walks from Brierfield Station.
If we get the chance to rebuild the signal box and landscape the platform, would you like to see it being used for?
It would be a really good communal space for the community, because like you said, there's lots of people in the old mill and just a place to sit and be. Yeah.
But yeah, I just I've never seen that photo before. I can't picture the platform being that wide to fit that building on and have the walking distance.
No, it looks it
doesn't look that.
it looks like it should be. That's the other way around.
Yeah, it's so strange. So, like I said, any sort of community use that could come out of it, whether it just be planters that are used by local schools or
somewhere nice to sit if
the
train's delayed.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would have been nice to go over there today, wouldn't it, and sit there and wait and start the conversation there. So
it's only when you see the bridge that you realise.
The mill behind.
You realise it's.
I didn't realise they used to have letters up on the mill as well.
That's shocking.
Smith and Nephews.
If you do build some kind of shelter or a cafe there, it's somewhere you can shelter, because you're doing winter weeks or months as well. Because we have to catch, for getting into uni, you have to catch the hour early train. So it ends up being a situation where we get there and I'm waiting for about 30 minutes in the cold. We've only that bus shelter to protect me really. Whereas if you turn that into an actual proper cafe or shelter, like a history centre, it gives you somewhere just to go in while you wait. Yeah, so you keep yourself occupied, keep yourself warm. Yeah, smart idea.
It'd be good to see a building there that collaborates the history of what the train station used to be and shows what it's come to now. So it'd be good to see old pictures and old relics of what used to be there on display.
I'd say Lostock Hall, they actually have that. They've got a mural at Lostock Hall that goes through, I think it starts in the 1930s, 1920s. And it shows how the train station's expanded and the different types of train that have been there. So they could do something like that on the inside of it.
I think it's Hebden Bridge or somewhere as well. They have the old railway map. Big old railway map on the wall, which would be great to have something like that. It's so interesting as well. It even has the Skipton line on that map, so it's one of the really interesting things to look at.
The director of Heritage Railways, when he came to have a look, he was really impressed with the mill, and he mentioned Saltaire. He said it reminded him of
that's what I picture now when I look at it, which makes me so proud as a local resident that we have that down the road from my house. Like that clock tower, I didn't even know it existed. I mean, I've lived in Brierfield 30 years, never even seen that clock tower. But now it's just like such a key feature of it.
and it chimes, isn't it, every hour?
Again, I've not heard that yet, so again, that's something I'll make me really smile when I go past and hear that.
When you hear that, the church bell as well, it's nice.
See it, say it, sorted.
I just think that once we've got maybe a concept for Brierfield of how you can do it, there's nothing stopping us rolling it down the rest of the line and slowly but surely improving all these other platforms and creating a concept at Brierfield that you can roll out hopefully across the country.
I think it's definitely had its ups and downs over the time of this railway line. They've talked about closing it many times, but managed to avoid the beaching cuts, and we still have it. So while we have it, I think we should make the most of it, protect it, and hopefully improve it. Exactly.
There was talk of repainting the bridge at one point as well, wasn't there?
They've got funding for it. They've got funding to
Is that
do it.
who's got the funding?
Council.
But in Pendle Council?
But I don't know when. I don't know when it's going to happen.
Was it purple?
I don't know.
I'm sure purple was mentioned for some sort of. I could be wrong. Is it the suffragettes is purple?
Yeah, so we're nearly back. So that was a quick trip.
Well, see, when you said it should be 34 minutes, I thought you meant 34 minutes to get to Colne from Brierfield. So I was really confused.
It's taken 25 minutes and 26 seconds.
There you go. So yeah, I've got some photographs of the old subway. I'll send them to you. But you can actually see some of the tiles at the side where it actually went underneath in the subway. The original tiles are still there.
Even just to suggest maybe opening it up to take loads of tiles out and then closing it back up again. So we
That's interesting.
well, like I said, it'd be interesting to see what's like, if Ozzy says like it's just like a cap over entrance, then that'd be so interesting to go and look down there and see what's still usable.
If anyone's left anything, because there could be luggage from like the 40s or 50s.
Might even be like one of these old letters or something. Do you know, there could be anything down there, couldn't there? It's so interesting.
The trains could be down there.
I feel like I'm never going to be able to walk past here without wanting to try and find this entrance.
Just like pulling out tools, like shipping away.
It's like they have them Urban Explorers, don't they, nowadays? On YouTube, and I feel like we should prod one of them to
Come on, just start showing stuff.
Because of all birds, they've made the nests and homes, haven't they, there? So we'd have to put something back from, wouldn't we?
Yeah, all your bee bird, bat boxes and all that sort of thing, owl boxes, you could do all that all the way down.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
In Trodden they have planter boxes all the way up the main road as you're going into town.
Yeah.
And they're all sponsored by a different business.
Yep.
So basically I think they all just like give in basically a certain amount each year or month, and someone comes and puts the plants in for them.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, go on, show me the subway.
Let's go and
Stand
have
me
a
on
look.
top
Let's
of
go
it.
and have a look.
Stand you on top
I
of
want to
it.
picture myself walking down it.
Yeah, well, I used to live down the bottom of
So have you ever
Road.
used it then?
Yeah, all the
The
time.
subway?
Yeah, all the time when I was going up.
So when did
I
that
was
go
going
then?
to school. I don't remember because we moved from down the bottom of Clitheroe
But
Road.
when
to-
can you sort of last remember it?
Probably. Oh gosh. Yeah, you really don't want to know. Probably late 70s actually.
Oh, right, okay.
Late 70s, yeah. No, you see, we didn't take any notice of it.
See, that's what I'm trying to say about the
it was here
the
today,
signal
and gone
box.
the signal
tomorrow.
box. Exactly the
Yeah.
same, because like I said in my head, when I'm driving down towards here, it's still there in my head.
This is where the subway started here, just where this fence is, and it went down there and up the other side. One side went up to the other platform, and the other side went up to the road.
So what you're saying is that basically just
We're stood right on it now.
We're stood right on it now.
But if you have a look round the other side, there's where the wall is. The tiles are there from the subway. So it's just here on this.
what hidden behind the fence.
Yeah. If you have a look here. Oh wow.
That's a very good spot, that Diane.
The tiles that line the subway.
Oh yes, yes.
That was the other question. Is that do you know people?
That'd have been the inside of the subway, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that'd be on the
So-
inside.
So this would be walking. So we'd be walking up.
You'd be coming up the top of the steps.
Steps
You'd
up here, yeah.
You'd be probably nearly at the top of the last few steps.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
They don't, in my head, feel like there's enough space.
Well,
No,
this would
neither
be
have I.
this one to be near then. This fence here. This would be.
I know. I
it
just
would be
mean
wide
space-wise.
open.
I can't picture you getting down to go under.
No,
to come,
no,
like,
no,
it
no.
just. I can't fathom it in my head.
Oh, there were plenty of room.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
But what we're finding fascinating is that you can still see the
Yeah, yeah.
tiles from the subway.
Oh yeah.
It's cool, isn't it? So we're
I'm
just
alright. How are you?
We've just been trying to figure out how it all was and how the platform looked and how much
good,
it's changed. Aren't they cool?
Yeah, I've never noticed them before.
I
Yeah, they
noticed
are.
them last week. You know, we were just.
Well,
having
yeah,
a
I know
walk
you said
round.
that, but I didn't really
Yeah.
clock what you meant. But I've just seen them now. Yeah, they are really nice.
They're all white.
They might
We'll
have
have to go
been.
down, aren't they?
Well, see, yeah, I was thinking, could you polish that off? And maybe use a bit more of a not a chemical, but you know what I mean. Something a bit more. It'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's probably all underneath as well, all the tiles.
Well,
Not
that's
that we're
what
going
I
to
said.
dig it up to find out.
Well, Ozzy was suggesting that they might not have filled it in, which is why we're all curious as to know if there's anything still down there that would be of use.
I don't even know roughly where would the entrance have been from here.
We're on it, apparently.
We're on it.
We're on
This is
it
it.
right now.
But one
This
entrance
is-
here and one entrance there, surprisingly.
Some more steps to go on this side. It went underneath and then steps
That's
to
right,
go up
yeah.
the other side.
Yeah.
Like I say, I can't picture there ever being a subway here. It just doesn't make.
No,
Like, there's not enough space in my head to, you know, like, it just doesn't make sense. So strange.
Does everyone know Philly?
Yeah.
Because we've got permission eventually to have. We're having a gate fitted here, so we can eventually start to go onto the platform to start to clear. Well, we've got to get someone professional in to deal with this. They won't let us deal with this. They want someone professional in to deal with that, and then when most of it's done, then we can do the rest along the platform. So for me, it feels like a very little thing, but it feels like a big step forward with the length of time this has been going on. So yeah, hopefully Philippe's going to design us something. And I said, I feel like we could make a statement with this. I don't think it should just be a wooden gate. I think it should represent the beginnings of this. So Philippe's ideal to do something a bit creative. Maybe with some of your research as well, Diane. Maybe there's some imagery or whatever we could play around with to make it look, look nice. They'll probably have to sign off the design, but I mean, they seem pretty chilled.
A good starting point, actually.
Yeah, fabulous.
Obtain your research.
They're granted us a licence again to be able to access the platform like they do with the Friends of group. That's all fine, but I think just the amount that needs doing.
I've got a contact, I've got like a wind engine there now, and I was dealing with a lass called Holly.
No, that's fine. No,